Okay, that should be all done. Okay, so hi, I'm Samuel. Who am I? So I am like just among others undergraduates. About as common as you might think, but yeah, I will call myself an open source software developer if I like. But actually, I don't really develop much because I don't really have my own. I don't really have enough projects to develop on because University of Stress and Tension, right? So you don't really have time for like developing. But occasionally, I do really look at the software that they build, and then I find bugs, and then I find something that doesn't function really well, but I just try to fix it, and then contribute in some kind of way. So like just casual bug fixing and features and among other things. I spend a lot of time exploring software and tech things on GitHub. So I can't really say that I spend time doing this now because now I'm an Xcode. But before being an Xcode, I used to explore software and tech things a lot. And I really do have a diverse range of interests. And I like how they try to make reproducible packaging a thing. So now, like with Next, they try to do everything in a reproducible way. So that's really interesting. And if I'm able to do that, I might just show you here. Yeah, so this is my main, it's not like research interest because there's plenty of research already done, but is a contributing interest, I would say. So, and another thing that I'm really interested in is kernel development. So I used to build different kernels of like Linux systems, like on my home PC, and also even on Android. I used to tinker with Android kernel development a lot. But yeah, most of them are just like wasted projects anyways. So, and also I have an interest is typesetting. I like latex. I do latex, I do context. I also use the new typesetting system based on text called Types. I don't know if you guys know about it, but as usual, let's show you here. Yeah, so this is my types projects, and you can see the documentations there. So this is like a new markup language, typesetting systems, that kind of thing I'm interested in. So, and yeah, these three are that used to be the most, I guess, kind of say like time-invested projects that I'm interested in. Let's pull it up here. There's context minerals. It's a reproducible context LMTX distribution. Basically, it's a new typesetting system. And then I help to package it in a reproducible way. Which reproducibility means that whenever I try to compile it, it will always give the same result back. So the risk of like having compiling errors and dependency issues decreased much less because it's reproducible. So that's what it means. And some kernels, repositories that I don't really do active development on now, but I guess I can show you the beauty in open source development is that when you don't really do development anymore. So let's say the most latest commit that I've made on this project is 2021 October. But you see, there is something called forks. So if I network, and inactive. Yeah, so see, because you have contributed your code, you have published your code on GitHub, so it kind of, even if you don't actively contribute to it, it still lives on in some kind of spiritual way. So for example, this person right here, I don't know who this person is, but it seems that they have improved it. Yeah, so my latest contribution is here, and they can improve on my existing contributions. So in some way the project lives on, and that's the beauty of open source projects. And this, I guess, we will talk about this later. But yeah, when we go to GitHub projects, GitHub actions, and yeah, this seems to be a bit more about me, but yeah, it makes me seems egocentric. But let's go. I don't care. This is my first pull request in the 10K stars next packages project. It's a really cool project, by the way. I really like it. So when I try to seek out the possibility of contributing, I already took it. So this is me contributing to the next packages VLC. I don't know if UST computers have VLC, but it's a really popular video player. Let me see if I can. Yeah, because I'm typing on the MacBook computer. Yeah, so this is the. Notice I didn't really make contributions directly to the media player. I just make contributions to the packaging, which is kind of like, you can imagine packaging as like they have a source and then you manage it in some way so that the end user can use it. So that's what I did. And this is my first, I didn't receive any comments. It just kind of like passed. But you can see, first time contribution here. So it's kind of, it doesn't really have any values besides a history thing. But there it is. So continuing, I'm not going to show this URL, but I'm not going to show this, but you can see on your own. But yeah, sometimes I guess you have to keep trying, because sometimes you will mess up. Eventually, it's a probability thing that you will mess up. See, like this, I wanted to upgrade this package to a newer version, but unfortunately, I've rebased the branch incorrectly, so that I drag everyone into the repository, which is never supposed to happen, but I did it anyway. So they logged the pull request has too heated and limited conversation, and then somebody went ahead and close it. So this is an oopsie that I did. But sometimes, if you don't keep trying, you never know what you end up with. So, for example, if I one PR this UM to another, I wonder what this is. This is, because previously, I said very sorry for requesting reviews from everyone, so this is not something that I messed up, but I still push on and do it anyway. So, but then I realized the code has a separate issue when it is updated. It can't compile on Arch64 on Darwin, which is MacBook, basically. The newer M1, M2 MacBooks, the architecture, they are different. They're different from Intel ones. So it can't compile on that. And I try to look into it, see what happened. And then we end up with another pull request. This time is not on next packages. This time is on the library itself. So I guess this is kind of another beauty of things, is that when you dig through the issue, you kind of go to somewhere else. And then, the author said, thanks for catching this. But yeah, ultimately I submitted some C code and some guards around the real code, and then I also get this fixed, merged by upstream, and then it's done, and then I added more commit messages, and then there we go. And then so another pull request, but let's skip to the end result. I can somewhat say that my name is on the official GNU page. I can kind of somewhat say it because it's true. Let me find. I can search Samuel. Yeah, I'm on there on 2022, 30th of July. 14 months ago, but it's on my, so I can say my name is on GNU.org. Kind of. Like, because GNU.org is kind of like the, I don't know, the founders of software and things. Like even our basic Linux user space are made up of GNU core utilities, right? So that's kind of like, I didn't expect my name to be on there, but this is something that I did and I'm really proud of. But anyways, now that we spent so much time talking about myself, let's really get to the meat of the talk here. So I wanted to, like this is the basic agenda, I wanted to talk about Git first, and then once we have a basic understanding of Git objects and infrastructure and system, like once we learn about the basic box, and then we can go ahead and see how GitHub really has to offer as a platform. Because GitHub is a really common misconception is that Git is basically GitHub, which is absolutely not true. Okay, so Git is a distributed version control system, and then GitHub is a platform built based on the software that it created. So that's the essential difference. So when we go to, so in order for us to understand Git, we first must know what are the basic building blocks of Git. So you have commits, which is like a point in time, a checkpoint of all the commit files with a message. And then, for example, yesterday we wanted to save a bunch of files for later reference, and then yesterday we would make a commit, and then the commit will have a timestamp, they will have a message, and it's not made automatically. It's made using a command line, which I will show later, don't worry. And then a branch is basically a timeline of multiple commits, a lot of time points into the timeline, chained together. So last week's me, yesterday's me, and then today's me. And then they also have a name as well. So like a common name for branch, like usually when you just have one branch, and then it will be called the default branch, and then it will be called master or main. I don't know why they rename it to main, because like stereotype and things. But anyways, and then onto repository. Repository is interesting because repository, it doesn't really have a strict definition. It can compose of multiple branches, multiple tags, multiple commits. Actually, in Google and higher level, like Android the open source project, they have a thing called mega repo or something that consists of multiple repositories. So that means that the line between repository and bigger things really blurry. So you can imagine it like a topic surrounding all the branches and commit inside of it. So it has branches, tags, commits, and sometimes even configs. So, and another thing people don't realize when using the IEDE is that Git offers 3 stages of files to be in, kind of. First you have untracked, which is new files that doesn't really necessarily get recognized by Git. It just kind of let it go by. So for example, when you run a command such as GCC, something like this. So it generates a main file based on the main.c file, the source file. But the main file is build artifact, right? You don't really want to have the build artifact, the binary file that humans can read, to be committed into the version control system. So when you do this, and then it's a Git repo, and then the main file will be a binary file that is untracked. So Git doesn't really cares about it. You just let it slide by. So I guess if we do a quick demonstration. So, as you can see, if I type git status onto the computer, you can see nothing to commit, working tree clean. So, for example, if I want to write something onto it, so for example, I want to touch something build log. So, for example, I am a compiler and I write garbage onto the directory. So, what will happen? So, for example, in my first C terminal prompt, you will see a question mark, and then when you run git status, it will show untracked files. This build log, which Git will not care us about, is in the directory. So the directory is now unclean. So if we clean it, so if we do something like this, it will be removed along with other DS store macOS things. So that's the gist of it. When it is untracked and you run git clean, and it will clean the directory, so removing all the files that doesn't really belongs to the directory. So then onto another stage. Another stage is ironically staged. So for example, if I want to write an important file here, such an important file is still untracked, right? So what I can do is I do git add important file. So what it does, basically, now you see the plus sign on the prompt. So what does that mean? We can type git status to no, and changes to be committed. Now it is recognized. Now it's green. Now Git knows about it. It knows that we are about to commit it onto the history, right? So Git knows about it, but sometimes if I edit the important file, if, for example, I want to write some important text, let's say. So now you have two symbols, one exclamation mark and one plus sign. What does that mean? We can now the file is kind of like both staged and untracked. So the file is there, but the staged version is different from the actual version. So if we also add, then it will remain only the plus sign, and there is only the new file. So the whole file is staged now. So, and then we can, when it is staged, it is still subjected to change. We don't know if it will change or not. And then if we commit onto the final stage, when we commit, let's say username, and then add a file, okay? we sign the commit, and then it will be written onto the history. So these are the common operations that I usually use. I trust that you must have seen like commands that I've used, like git commit, git add, git push. But unfortunately, we don't really have time to demonstrate all of them. But these are from this slide, you can see that I have used git add 270 times on my MacBook until now. So I have used git reset for like 100 times, but we will get to that later. And then GitHub is not Git, as I said. So what is a really prime example of GitHub is not Git is that before GitHub, when people try to use Git, they would send patches through, surprisingly, mailing lists. They actually use email. Guys, emails is actually a thing that you can use to like version control and things. It's maybe unexpected to you, but it's really how it works back in the old days. And I think till now, Linux kernel, they still use mailing lists as their primary communication channel. So what they do is they write a name, and then they write, context of the patch, and then they attach the patch here. So this is the patch. So this is how they do it back in the days. And then with the basic in mind, then we can go into GitHub once you know about all the Git stuff. And onto GitHub, you shall see a lot of like fancy things. Let me also go here. Yeah, there's the white theme and there's the black theme. But anyways, what they are showing is the same. On the left side, you will have the icon, the name, the username, and the description, which I really suggest like we're adding because people when they check your pull request, for example, and then they click onto your profile, and then when you state what your agendas are, what your like description is, and then it helps them to determine how trustworthy you are. So this is something that I recommend doing, but you can really actually do without it. But here are my popular repositories and contributions. Yeah, and then that's and notice that you can do it really basic, like ones on the top because it's only a test repo. They only have a name and then labels. But down there, you can actually have a license. License is really important because it helps others to let them know that the code usage of the code, whether it is free to use or it is actually a copyleft license, which doesn't really allow companies to use your code. And then they have to ask for a separate license to get it to merge them into their code base. So license is important because it tells others if you are allowed to what you are allowed to do with my code. So, and then I also recommend adding tags to the repository. It helps with the discovery. And then that shall be all the basics. And pull requests, and then we will get to that later. Actions, maybe we will have time for that. But actually, let's go on a little adventure. Hello everyone, let's go on an adventure. Yeah, hands-on checkpoint. So if everyone can enter through this link, and then do the tasks with me, that will be greatly appreciated. So this is kind of the report that I made for this seminar, and then in order for you to get COMP 4900 attendance, you kind of have to do this. You kind of can't skip. So that's the that's the drawback of this talk, if you will. But yeah, let's do it together. This should be fun. So let's do this. And then, so get started refers for this repository to your own GitHub account. So notice this right here. So click this, and then click Create Fork. It should be forked to your account. The same repository should be under your account, but this time it's under your name, not the CSESS, not CSESS, but under your name. So don't be afraid if you can do this on time, because this submission won't be closed until next week or so. I don't know, but it won't be closed immediately. So you can feel free to take this as a take-home exercise. But right now you can just see me do stuff. So if a couple of tricky things is that GitHub has actually removed password authentication. So if you haven't set up SSH authentication, you can step through with it with me. So go to settings here, and then go to developer settings, and then personal access tokens, and then click on tokens classic. So what we will see is maybe tokens you have created previously, or actually nothing. But click generate new token classic, and then it will request because security. And then when we enter the code, it should work. Yeah, so let's develop with GitHub. 30 days, let's say to 7 days, because security. So you make sure to click the repo, so the token can access your repo. So create generate token, and you should be good to go. So this is the access key. I should delete this immediately because it's recorded. So but yeah. So that's how you generate the key. And once you not there, and once you generated that, sorry, my brain is not working. So if we go back to here, and then, yeah, we have already finished step 2, so we have already gotten the token. And so if you do this, if you git clone this, if you type this command and then replace the GitHub token you just gotten previously, and then replace it with your username, you should get something like this. So let's do it. I assume you have a working Linux terminal, and if you don't, that's pretty sad. That's very sad, actually. Yeah, Windows users, sorry, can't help you. If it works, then great. Yeah, actually, Windows have a subsystem called Windows Subsystem Linux. That kind of thing. Yeah, it allows you to run Linux onto Windows, which is pointless, by the way. Because if you want to run Linux on Windows, why don't you just run Linux? But anyway, so if you clone this already, and then change directory into the repository that you just cloned, and then you check out the branch, because the default branch is master. And then you want to rename it. Actually, create a new branch based on the master. but then give it a new name. So we will give it a new name called feature/add-page. So this is the new name of the branch. So this shall be a new timeline that we will write commits onto, and then you can write a really nice message into one of the pages that we just created. And then let's see the pages that I have available locally. It only has me, so sad. But anyways, if we, for example, if we let's say this page is called username-demo, and then write, hi everyone, good evening to the seminar. Good evening. Yeah, let's end it at that. And let's save it. And then, as we previously saw, it will be a question mark because Git doesn't know what it is yet until we tell it to git add. So let's do this. And then let's commit it. This time I want the commit message to be called username add another file. And then it will prompt me to enter my password and then it shall be done. And then actually I want the branch to rename another one because demo. And then once we are done, then we basically complete these all 2 steps. And then usually because I like to overcheck things, I would write git status and git log a couple of times to make sure I really did what I do. So, and then when we eventually get to push it, then we will do something like this. We will tell Git to push to the origin. Origin is the GitHub repo which we just downloaded the repository from, and then we will tell it to push the new branch onto the remote. So if we do this, and then I have to enter more passwords. And then it should prompt something like this. Create a pull request for this new branch on GitHub by visiting this. So if I click on it, it should directly take me to the page or not. Let's do this. And then I should be here. Add another file. Let's create a pull request and see what happens. Okay. Yay. Let's see what happens. I don't know what will happen. But anyway, if you have completed all these steps, and then you can basically now just copy the link there, up at the top, and then you can paste it onto your Canvas submission, and then you can leave. But let's continue on. Let's continue on the PowerPoint slide because our demo is done. Now we just did so much command line and so much GitHub things that we don't really fully understand. But is that just it? Is that just like a regular developer is doing? Actually, no, because in big tech companies like Google and Facebook and tech companies like that, they have much straighter coding standards, you could say, and really more rigorous environment. And then your code submitted have to go through unit tests, and then you have to like maybe sample deployments, and then maybe even like code styles review, and if your code doesn't really pass the test, then they will reject you. And you can merge your changes onto the main master branch. So if you look here, let's find a really good example. Let's sort by most commented. Let's see what, yeah, you see regularly they have like 3,000 or 4,000 pull requests up. So you know it's a big project. Is actually, if you look at here, the latest commit is just 15 minutes ago. So you can tell it's running ongoingly, non-stop. It's really, really quite an active project. So if you would look at something like that, you can see there is, if you want to propose changes that really, I don't know, changes the code base in a really radical way, then obviously there are going to be a lot of conversations about it. So you can see, so this kind of the value of GitHub is that it allows really interactive interactions between developers, and based on the changes that they propose, the others reviewers, they can immediately give feedback onto the code, and then give more like reasonable like tweaks to the pull request they originally proposed. So you see, it's still an ongoing like conversation about this architecture, from default architecture to this something. So yeah, developers really don't get, in my opinion, don't really get enough credits for their work, because they have to like fix things and then fix things again and then fix things again, because they don't fix it good enough, you could say. And what I'm trying to find is that often you will have reviews. Let's see if I can find a good example of it, because for certain changes they have a code owner file. Let me see if I can find it. Editor config. Or actually, I can just So this is one of the practices used in the Next packages repository, is that they have co-owners, and whenever you given a really large repository, they have dedicated authors they have dedicated maintainers to certain parts of the code. So when you enter some specific parts of the code that are really related to the maintainer, then they will get notified by the pull request, the changes that you have submitted, and then they will go ahead and like engage in conversations or review your changes based on the notification that GitHub has sent out. So, for example, if you want to include something then you just write a proper syntax, and then, like for example, if I want to include all JavaScript files group related all JavaScript files to a group called JS owner, then they will be notified when you edit a JavaScript file. I think this file is really handy on large development project because it provides a really clear separation between like responsibilities and stuff. And you may also, and then when we scroll down, we also have protected branches. And one thing you are not really supposed to do is push directly to the master branch in large repository, because if others are not notified by your change, if your change is not audited, your change is not submitted by pull request, then others won't necessarily know about it, and there won't be discussion going through the change, and then it's just really poor practice to not have your code refiltered by others. So this is what protected branches, the feature, has to offer. It will just not let you push to the master branch, which is kind of simple but handy for some more junior developers, I would say. Because I've seen examples of like on Reddit, and they say, oh, a junior developer has deleted the whole master branch of the production repository, and then the code company has to have a day of downtime or something like that. So if they have set up a protected branch feature, they may as well just avoid the incident and not have to deal with that. And they also have like branch protection rule allow you to push or not, or push to something, or disable you from pushing to something that isn't meant to be edited. So these are and so I guess I'm ending our talk early because I don't really necessarily have. Hi. You can. You may hijack this talk. Good morning.
Hi everyone. I'm Matthew. Anyone here struggling to follow the hands-on checkpoint, the COMP4900 task? So the one where you have to you have to fork the GitHub repo and then do a modification and then make a pull request. Do you want a simpler demonstration of this part? You can raise your hands. If you're using Windows or you don't know how to use Git or you don't know how to authenticate it, okay, I can do a very quick demonstration of how to do everything mentioned here in a browser. So you don't necessarily need to learn how to use Git or how to authenticate using a token. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using an iPad right here, the screen by the two sides. So let me change the display mode first. So I'm actually mirroring my own screen. Mirror, where is mirror? Arrangement, mirror display. Yep. Okay, so I'm using an iPad. So this is our task, developing with GitHub. So the first one is to fork this repo. So just go to the GitHub page, this one. So I think anyone missed the link? No need to get the link again. So we just go to the repo page and then click the fork button at the top right hand side. Click it, and then GitHub will ask you to log in. Somehow it's asking me to log in here. I'm supposed to be logged in. Oh, very unfortunate. Okay, so this is a very good demonstration of security.
Exactly, I love security. Two-factor authentication happens to the best of us.
Okay, once you're authenticator, just click the fork button, and then it will ask you to fork. The new repo will be under a name. Just the default should be fine. Yep, create fork, and then now you have your own copy of the developing with GitHub repo, and then you should be able to see everything Samuel prepared for us within a repo that is under your own name. So you can see this is my name, and then this is the repo. And then the next step is to, since we're doing it in the browser, so we actually can skip this one. And then we can also skip this one because we are not doing it on a local machine. So we have to make a new branch, which is called feature/add page. I'll just copy the name here, and then we can click one here, I think. Yep. I think we're going to create a new branch here. Yep. Just click new branch, and then use the name. Make sure the default is fine. Make a new branch. We'll go to the new branch again. And you can still see everything is the same, but next step we'll do something a bit different. So we have to create a markdown file. Just go to, I think, yep, one of the directory of the repo, and then click add file, create new file, and then the default file is a markdown file. So just type something. So like maybe I make a heading of markdown. And then once you are done with the modification, yep, remember to name your file here. So maybe I just use a random name, and then the file extension is markdown, so .md, and then commit changes. So since we are directly committing to the branch, so and we are already logged in, so we only have to make the commit message and then commit, and then you can see this branch is committed with my modification. So next step, yep. And since we've already made a modification, our next step is simply create a pull request. So scroll to the top, and then you should be able to see this branch is one commit ahead of CSE master. And then you see a very big button, create pull request. Just click that, say something, and then create pull request. Then you'll be able to get the attendance for COMP4900. Is this easier to follow? You don't need to know Git, or you don't need to do all the authentication. You just only have to do everything in a browser. So this is actually a very good demonstration that since web technology have advanced a lot, developers can actually do everything within a browser. So yep, we can thank all the developers and also Samuel for this demonstration.
Thank you. a really big thank you to Matthew who showed the web ways of doing it. So originally I didn't really think of it because it's not my main routine of doing things, but really appreciate Matthew to demonstrate things in such a simple way. Even Windows user can now follow, which is wow, awesome. So we are nearing the end of our talk, and I wanted to do a couple things first because before we really leave, and let me. So upcoming, there is only a part of the CSE festival, and this is actually the first night of our whole week events. And upcoming tomorrow around 6 to 7:30 p.m. we will have the CTF Experience Workshop hosted by Alex and the Fiber team. And the day after tomorrow, at the same time, in COMP4900 room, the computer lab, we will also have the AI Exploration Workshop by Chris. Yeah, we just call him Chris. We don't actually call him his full name. But yeah, at Friday we will have a BBQ. You are all welcome to join. And make sure to follow us on csess.hkust.hu because we post regular stories and post updates there. So I guess, what's the time now? 28th. I guess we'll have a 2 minutes early leave. So let me know if you have any questions, and good evening. So that's the end of the seminar. Thank you. Thank you for all the attention. Thank you.